All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real. Here with the real guys. We got Sean, we got Adam back. Welcome back. Glad to be here with you guys. I know Sean's itching to talk about football. We didn't show. Last week I had an issue, so we weren't here, and I apologize for that, y'all. These guys are anxious, so let's dive in. What you got, Sean?
No problem. You know, stuff comes up. I just wanted to talk about the NFL free agency, everything going on, who we think the winner and the losers are of free agency thus far. We haven't talked about a lot of the big moves since we missed last week, so we have a lot to talk about. So let's get into it, boys. Let's get into it. I'm excited.
All right, Captain America. Let's do this. All right. You want to go winners first or losers first?
We'll go winners first.
You want to go winner? All right. Go winner.
Let's go Dallas Cowboys. Which one do they fall in? Losers.
I think they're more towards the loser bracket.
You have to pair them with the trades because the Amari Cooper trade, complete loss.
That was awful.
It was awful. And then you pair that with Cedric Wilson leaving.
Yep.
And
on top of
Gallup is their best receiver now.
Yep.
Well,
CeeDee Lamb.
Lamb's a beast.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. Okay, but Gallup's the best one from 3 years ago that's still there.
And then the Randy Gregory situation obviously wasn't ideal for them. They did bring back Leighton Vander Esch, so that's a big plus for them. But the Randy Gregory situation alone is a L for them.
Right.
I mean, he was important for them.
Yeah, he definitely was important for them.
And then they bring back Dalton Schultz. We've talked about this. They brought back Dalton Schultz for what was it, $11 million?
Yeah,
you guys tagged. Yeah,
you guys were on record saying that's an L for them. I mean, that's $11 million for a tight end. That's probably not top 10 at this point.
He's not a Pro Bowler to me.
No, he's definitely not a Pro Bowler.
And that's Pro Bowl money. Tight end, that's Pro Bowl money.
Yeah.
I don't like them not what they're doing. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I didn't think they were going to keep Amari Cooper, but I didn't think they were going to basically just give him away for pennies.
Right.
I mean, you see what what Cleveland gave for Deshaun Watson. Amari Cooper is not a slouch.
Right.
He's a good wide receiver. Some 100%. Argue top 10.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, he's definitely fixed some of his issues. And I thought he was going to be worth more than what they paid for him. But, I mean, hey, Cleveland's win.
Well, I think that we've talked about this before. I think it was either they take whatever pick they can get or he gets cut. He was in there. His time there was up. It was like Jarvis Landry with the Browns. He was getting released or he was getting traded, but his time there, you could tell his time was done there. So they took what they could get. I can't blame them for that, but I mean, the Randy Gregory situation is a complete L. Paying Dalton Schultz $11 million, you could probably mark that as an L. Losing Cedric Wilson, people don't understand. He's a good player. Like when they lost Amari Cooper, I for sure thought it was so they could bring back Cedric Wilson for obviously I'm not saying he's a Amari Cooper type of caliber player, but he's a good player. Mm-hmm. So to lose him as well, I mean that's tough.
I mean, I was talking to a Cowboys fan. He's a diehard Cowboys fan, and he wasn't upset with the Randy Gregory just due to the fact that Randy Gregory's always hurt. He's never played a full season. He's never played a full season. And he missed 2 seasons. Right? Yeah, he missed 2 seasons. So I don't really know if they lose too much on that. But just how it came out and what they did, how they kind of
Randy
Gregory's like, nah, they were trying to screw me over basically. And He's like, all right, I'm just going to go to Denver. They're going to pay me, and maybe he'll actually stay healthy there.
I don't know if it was a player that was an L or how the situation that was handled, and then he came out publicly and talked about it. That's what I thought the biggest L for the Cowboys was.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It makes the organization look bad.
Right.
Well, I will say outside the Cowboys, a huge loss. Kansas City, what?
Oh my God, yeah.
Golden the Ring, yeah.
Golden the Rams, they got something and sent him to the AFC, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. But let's talk about the Chiefs. I mean, they lose Pringle, and that was expected. But then they trade Tyreek Hill because Hill wanted mega money, and I understand, but
I get it.
He got a deal that a quarterback in his prime gets.
Yep.
$30 million.
It's insane. Insane for a 29-year-old speed receiver whose legs are kind of looking a little shaky at this point.
And he goes to a team with an unproven quarterback. His numbers might dramatically drop this year. And then how does he justify that 4-year contract for that?
I think Miami's a loser in that situation. One, you got a quarterback you can't throw past 40 yards, and you traded for a wide receiver who made his career off of 50-plus yard touchdowns.
Yeah.
See, there's so many people writing the Chiefs off. A lot of people I talk to are writing the Chiefs off, saying they got so much worse. I think they may have got a little worse, but I still think the Chiefs are a tough team. I mean, obviously they lost Tyreek Hill. They lost DeMarcus Robinson. They lost Byron Pringle. They did bring in one of the most underrated safeties in the league in Justin Reed. They lost Honey Badger. That's a big L. They brought back Frank Clark.
They got Juju.
And they brought in Juju.
Juju.
So, I mean,
don't get me, he's a Pro Bowler.
He's not better than who they lost at wide receiver besides Tyreek Hill. He's better than Pringle and Robinson.
They're going to have to carve out a role for him because he's not a system fit right now. Juju's not.
No. See, that's the thing. Like they don't have a running game either because Clyde did not pan out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is one of the biggest busts, I think, in recent times and within the past 5 years for a running back. Like he is not where he was drafted was not worth it at all.
No, I agree.
He's 5'8", like a 5'8", 185 or 200 or something like that. He just can't hit the hole from 5 yards out. He can't do it. So
people are lacking a lot because the division is so tough. Now we've talked about this 2 weeks ago, and we've talked about it since the offseason started. I do think the Chargers so far still, even with the Browns' big acquisition of Deshaun Watson, I do think the Chargers are still the winners of the offseason thus far. Still early. Yeah. The draft hasn't even happened yet. I mean, there's still going to be veteran players to get cut, and teams bring in veteran players for bargain prices. So we'll reevaluate after the draft. But thus far, I don't see anybody even close to the Chargers with the moves they made with J.C. Jackson and all the other pieces they brought in. Khalil Mack, obviously.
They hit all the areas of need before the draft.
Right.
I mean, they're not missing anything.
I can't remember. What was the defensive tackle? Was it Sebastian Joseph Day or something like that? Mm-hmm. They brought him in. He's an underrated player. I can't remember his name for some reason. It's slipping my mind, unfortunately. But
if you look at the mock drafts right now, most have the Chargers getting Jordan Davis from Georgia. That would solidify. You would have Khalil Mack on one side, both on the other, and Jordan Davis pushing the middle. That could be ugly for – and I understand the concept. You have to keep up with the changing AFC West. 2 months ago, Russell Wilson wasn't there. Devontae Adams wasn't there. Mm-hmm. You go to KC, Juju wasn't there. And Tyreek Hill is gone, but Patrick Mahomes makes everyone better.
Yep.
So, it's one of those things you had to keep up.
I think this is going to be a huge test to Patrick as well.
Oh, it's so much money time.
I mean,
because you're going from you're losing a 10-plus touchdown 1,000-yard receiver, and you're gaining Juju and a few other pieces, but you're losing one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Which White are you talking about?
Is he talking about Kasier White from the Chargers?
Yeah. The linebacker, right?
Eagles, I think he went to.
Yeah. Eagles have him now.
I think that he's talking about Kasier White, who went to the. I mean, they have Kenneth Murray. I mean, they have Asante Samuel Jr. They have J.C. Jackson. They have Derwin James.
I forgot they have J.C.
I mean, the Chargers are tough. I think the Chargers win that division, but everybody wants to write the Chiefs off. They have the top two quarterback in the league. You can argue Josh Allen and him. They're 1 and 2 in my eyes.
Yep.
Most people would agree with me. As long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, the Chiefs are going to be there. As long as Mahomes is healthy, the Chiefs are going to be there.
I don't think they place first in the division.
No, I think the Chargers place first. I do think they place second, though.
I'm saying the Chiefs are third, behind or in front of Oakland or
Really?
Vegas.
Real quick,
Vegas.
give me the order of finish, first to fourth, AFC West.
Chargers, Chiefs. This is where it gets a little shady. Broncos, Raiders.
I'm going Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders.
Really? You think the
You guys
Broncos?
have the Raiders last? I have the Raiders first.
Their
Really?
defense.
The draft is still coming. I know they traded away premium picks.
Pre-draft. Well, that's my rating.
But this is the deepest we've had at edge rusher in a class in a while.
Mm-hmm.
This is the deepest we've had a defensive line possibly ever. Mm-hmm. The Raiders can adjust in rounds 3 through 7 some of those needs and not pay a fortune and not trade anything else away. They traded for Devontae Adams. They're now telling Derek Carr, yeah, you made the playoffs with those guys last year. Let me give you a wide receiver 1. Josh Jacobs healthy is going to help you get everything rolling, get us back. If I'm just looking at improvements all around, yeah, the Chargers are the team that improved their roster the most.
Mm-hmm.
But the Raiders didn't need to improve as much to still be a number 1. So I've got Raiders first, Chargers a very close second. Like, it might come down to like the last game of the year, close. The Chiefs third. I have no faith in Russell Wilson bringing that Broncos team to a division title year 1.
Adams in shambles right now.
I don't. I think they have a good run. They're like an 8-9 team this year for me, because I mean they trade away Fant. You know they trade away one of their best defensive linemen. They kind of gutted their roster to get Russell Wilson, and then now they don't have the draft picks to rebuild either.
See, I think.
Yeah, I agree. 3 teams are going to come out at least.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think that's Denver. I'm sorry.
You think Denver's the odd man out? So you think every team makes it except Denver?
Except Denver, yes.
I have to disagree just because, one, I'm a Broncos
Don't hit
fan,
me with a
two, I just think they are well more versed than the Raiders. So what was Denver missing that everyone has said? A quarterback. Is Russell Wilson an MVP quarterback? Clearly not. He's never won MVP. Should he have? Yes.
You never know.
But he's never even been voted. But he is a top-tier quarterback. I mean, he only had DK and Lockett. Lockett is a good wide receiver too. He's a very good wide receiver too. And DK, I hate him, but he's a wide receiver 1. They had no running game. They have a big running game in Denver. I mean, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Javonte's a monster.
Melvin Gordon's free agent, right?
Yeah, he's a free agent as of yet. Yeah, no one's picked him up. I think they're going to bring him back in. Albert Akuabunum is really good to replace Fant. I'm not like at first I was like, why are you getting rid of Fant? But now I'm like, I get it. Albert O is a lot cheaper because they were going to have to sign Fant to a pretty decent deal to keep him. And to me, he didn't show enough to sign that. Like Dalton Schultz, I think they would take a big L if they brought him into like a franchise tag of $11 million. That's a big L for them when Albert Akuabunum's not even making $11 million in his rookie contract.
No, that wouldn't make any sense, right?
No, and yeah, you have to worry about the huge offensive weapons on the Raiders, and Derek Carr and Devontae Adams have had very good success in college, but I just think that they're going to fall short.
The Raiders?
The Raiders are going to fall short. And I don't like the Chiefs. I think they lack a running game, but I do think they come in second just due to the fact that it's Patrick Mahomes.
Right. I agree with that.
I just think Russell Wilson is a huge improvement. Huge.
From Drew Lock?
From Drew Lock all day. Well, there was no consistency with Drew Lock. Sometimes he looks like a Pro Bowl quarterback, and then, the next snap he's looking like Blaine Gabbert for Jacksonville.
Panthers a big loss, but Payton is an easier position to find a solid Band-Aid player to get them by. Yeah, I agree, especially when you have a good quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not upset with that Fant loss. He's good, but he's not a franchise style.
So when you look at it, sorry, go ahead.
So last year they won 7 games, and that's without Russell Wilson.
Right.
Denver. So if they're only 1 game better, then I think they need to start getting rid of front office people because that's shameful.
John Elway should be gone. I hate that.
Oh yeah, he's awful. He's awful. He's awful. Great. He's awful.
So what scares me about, I think it's Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders. What scares me about Raiders is, obviously their front 4 is good. People forget they added Chandler Jones. They lost Yannick Ngakoue, but they did add Chandler Jones, and they have Max Crosby, who's an absolute monster. But their linebackers and their safeties outside of Jonathan Abram at safety, their other defensive backs are a little weaker, and in that division, you're going to have to cover. So I think that's going to be their weakness. They have the weakest quarterback in that division. I think we can all agree on that at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Their running game, they probably have the second weakest running game. Probably the Chiefs might have worse, but they don't have a Patrick Mahomes to match that.
I think that they're running for the division.
But I'm going to say Josh Jacobs probably has a better year this year because the threat of the pass. They haven't had, they didn't have Ruggs last year. He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone forever.
Forever. So there's, you put Adams in this role. Now that nickel corner has to play his role. He can't come down and stop the run. We're going to see what Josh Jacobs is made of this year. And I think he has a better year. I think he tops 1,000 yards this year.
I already think Josh Jacobs is a pretty good running back at this point. I don't think he's garbage at all. I think he's pretty good.
He's had to make a lot of plays that weren't there.
They have Brian Edwards, who I think is an underrated wide receiver. They have Darren Waller, obviously, still. And they have the best wide receiver in the league in most people's eyes, including mine, Devontae Adams. So the Raiders are a tough team. I'm not saying that they're garbage or anything. I just think that they're playing in a very, very tough division. And I said it yesterday on another podcast. I think this might be the hardest division I've seen since I started watching football. The NFC West the last couple of years has been pretty tough with the Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, and Cardinals. I think this is way better. This division is rough, very, very rough. And a good team probably will not make the playoffs. If with the AFC North, you're probably going to look at least one wild card team from there. Obviously, there's one division winner. The Colts division, you're probably not going to. You have to worry about the Colts and the Titans. One of them may get a wild card. The Patriots division, you're not worried about anybody there. The Patriots are probably going to win that division, barring injury, and there's no wild card there. So the remaining 3 wild cards are probably going to be between the AFC West and the AFC North, other than division winners, obviously. I think the Raiders may be the odd man out, but obviously any of us could be wrong. You know what I mean? I just don't want to bet against the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, as much as I hate to say it. And I hope the Chiefs will make it. I hope the Chiefs are the odd man out. But I can't bet against them with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback with his success and how good he is, and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid and all those guys.
That's why they gave him all that money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now they can't sign Tyreek Hill because of it.
I didn't see that coming.
Me neither.
But it makes sense because their money situation is absolutely effed.
Their offensive
trips.
Yeah, totally.
I 100% agree.
See, I'm one of the few who's not high on Jacobs. I think he tries to play a power back, and he's not a power back. Personally, I don't like his injury shows that he can't handle certain workloads. Like, has he played a full season yet? He's good. Don't get me. I'm not saying he's absolute trash. I just don't think I'd want him as my franchise. No, he missed 1 game last year and 1 game the year before.
That's not bad. For a running back, that's not bad.
I mean, he is on paper a top 15 running back. I just don't personally like him. It's my own vendetta against him. That's all.
There must have been a fantasy vendetta or something.
I've never put any stock into him. I have certain people I just don't put stock into.
Know that I can do a show with you now. That's no. I learned to respect Jacobs in his time at Alabama. When you look into his story, I mean, he was in the same room as 3 Heisman running backs from Alabama, and had every chance in the world to transfer, and believed in himself enough to work, and still made it to the field. I mean, there was, even when he was playing with guys that were first round picks, that were Heisman.
Right.
Oh yeah, sure.
I respect the guy for his work ethic and believing in himself. So I think part of that, draws into why I think he's got what it takes to be the guy. We're going to see this year because
we'll see.
The Raiders invested enough in their offense to see instant results. And if they're not there, then then it's a Derek Carr issue, because he has everything on his plate to go out and compete for the AFC title, in my opinion. They're one of the best in the AFC.
Good luck in the AFC.
Their division is, I think, the top 4 teams in the AFC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Bills are going to compete. And, we got way off track of the winners, losers, I know, but
right.
The Bills are going to compete. I just don't know where they fall in that category. Josh Allen continues to get better. This might be an MVP season for him.
Need a running game.
Yeah, can they find a running game to help Josh Allen? He's not Vic. He can't be everything. He needs to be Josh Allen.
So
I think they're also lacking a true wide receiver too, honestly.
Gabriel Davis.
Stephon Diggs is that guy for me.
Gabe Davis
is
everyone's gonna see him from his playoff rant. It's 200 and some odd yards and 4 touchdowns, I think it was. I mean, that might be catching a diamond in the rough type of thing. But is he a true wide receiver too? I guess we'll see.
I think Emmanuel Sanders still there?
If he's healthy.
I mean, and they have Dawson Knox, who's a pretty good tight end. I mean,
he's good.
And Josh Allen is good enough to make a average wide receiver good enough to be a wide receiver too.
Oh, right. For sure.
I believe Josh Allen's probably the best quarterback in the league at this point, in my eyes.
So do I.
We've talked about this multiple times.
Yeah, we have.
I think we all pretty much agree, for the most part, that Josh Allen's probably the best quarterback in the league right now, all around.
I'll fight tooth and nail for that.
So,
I don't know. I
like my Super Bowl so far before the draft and everything. I think they're my Super Bowl pick for the AFC right now.
I think the best quarterback might be Jimmy Garoppolo.
Nah, it's got to be Taysom Hill.
He does win a lot.
Trey Lance.
All right, so winners. Let's go to
Chargers.
I'm going to have to stay home on this one. I'm going to have to say Jacksonville right now has really done well in free
Really?
They've done
Some people have them as losers.
They're finally writing checks for guys. The reason you're probably not going to think that they won anything is because they overpaid. And I had this huge conversation with Freddie, because Freddie said the same thing. They have to pay more to get anyone that plays well to want to play in a city like Jacksonville.
Right.
It's not a big city. It's not a nightlife city. So you're basically selling them on the element of football alone. The draw to LA is easy. I mean, that's where all the celebrities are. That's where the money. New York, that's where the money is. Jacksonville has none of that. Not even like ATL does. So you're overpaying to get someone to play for your team, because if you compare any two teams, Jacksonville and the Rams, you give the same guy $20 million. Who's he going to play for? No matter what position, he could get $20 million and ride the bench. He's going to choose the Rams all day. So we overpaid, but we got need position guys in a time where nobody wants to play in Jacksonville. And the difference is Trevor Lawrence is there. and they believe this kid might develop, do the Peyton Manning role, be horrible year one, come back year two, light some people up. They got it. They got Christian Kirk. They overpaid, but they got a receiver that can catch now.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Christian Kirk. I truly do.
I'll tell you, I think is a winner. Some people may disagree, but I think the Colts had a nice offseason so far. I think bringing in Matt Ryan really, really improves their team. I think they're now a playoff team with that, and I think they win that division. They bring in Yannick Ngakoue. I think the trade was for Rocky Sin, who I believe was on his way out the door. They brought in some other pieces, so I believe that the Colts bringing in Matt Ryan alone. I believe he's better than Carson Wentz, even at this point. I mean, he's put up decent numbers with nothing. So I believe that the Colts have gotten better with just the addition of Matt Ryan, plus they brought in Yannick. I think they're an underrated little winner of this offseason. They might not be a winner like the Chargers or obviously like the Browns bringing in Deshaun Watson and a bunch of other players, but I think the Colts have made some nice moves so far to put them in position to win that division.
Yeah, we're not gonna see the difference now, but if Watson ends up being suspended this year and the Browns finish with a top 5 pick, the Texans will look like the team that won the offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't blame the Texans either. I can't blame the Texans.
No, I can't either.
No,
I mean, they got what they wanted.
Deal.
Yeah, they have to. So where does this lead? So how do you think this is going to affect Atlanta? I see them going with Garrett Wilson in the draft.
They need everything.
So
they're gonna still get a quarterback.
I agree, Dustin.
Yeah, I think it's Garrett Wilson they're going to draft.
The wide receiver from Ohio State, you mean? Garrett Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're going to draft him.
No, I have them picking Jamison Williams later. I actually think they're in the market to try and get Malik Wilson in round 1. They're going to be trading like crazy. I think that's their target because they signed Marcus Mariota. What about that says long-term past this year?
Nothing.
So why not get a guy who it plays a lot like Mariota to learn from, get the playbook under your helm. You can get Jamison Williams probably late round 2. The injury is going to keep him out for probably most of this season. It was so late. I think that's the game plan. I could be wrong. That's what just the feeling I have.
So
go ahead. If I'm the Falcons or the Seahawks, much the same, they both need quarterbacks. I am probably trading back since this draft is so deep and collecting as many picks as I can to fill the multiple holes on my team. And I'm just going to take the best player available each time that it arises on the board. They both obviously need quarterbacks, but yeah, I agree. Like the Falcons need a long-term quarterback. They need a wide receiver. I mean, even after Calvin Ridley's suspension or if he appeals it or whatever, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with that. I mean, they have holes all over the entire team, offensive line. You can use a linebacker, corners, safeties. So, I mean, this draft is deep. So maybe trading back and picking up some later picks for both of those teams, the Seahawks and the Falcons, I think would be smart, in my opinion.
Yeah, but we all know that Atlanta's not smart. The only reason why I see them going Garrett Wilson is because this year wide receiver class is deep, but I think Garrett Wilson would drastically improve. And if Willis is like Mariota's never panned out to be anything more than a backup.
Right.
And he was the number 1 pick, wasn't he? Or number 2?
Yeah, he was number 1, I believe.
Number 1, yeah. And he was an absolute bust, in my opinion. The Heisman's losing its value more and more. Because all these Heisman people are turning out to be absolute trash. The reason I think they go Garrett Wilson is because Mariota is there for at least this year. And next year, I don't think they see themselves becoming a contender at all, even with Willis. So why not wait till next year to get a better quarterback? Because this year's quarterback, let's face it, they're not that good.
No, this is a very down pass.
It's a very bad quarterback year. Next year it's gonna be better. It almost is guaranteed to be.
Go ahead.
That's just why I think Garrett Wilson is a very talented wide receiver, and they are missing a very talented wide receiver. Yeah, they have Kyle Pitts, who's a generational talent, but the quarterback you can get next year and just hold off Mariota because it's not going to change your record at the end of the year.
The other thing about the NFC South is, I mean, none of those teams, the Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints, are in a position to win, especially with Tom Brady back in that division. But, I mean, I'm assuming this will be Tom Brady's last year. And after that, that division's wide open. None of those teams have a quarterback if Tom Brady leaves. I mean,
I don't know. Brady.
What's that? Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
The Panthers have Sam Darnold for the time being. Who knows if that's long-term or not. The Saints have Jameis Winston as of right now. So they're all going to need new quarterbacks.
No.
Andy
they
Dalton.
Also have Andy Dalton.
Oh no! Don't hurt yourself there.
He's going to win. He's going to win a Heisman this year.
I don't know about that. Jameis wasn't that bad with the LASIK. He just got hurt.
He just launches it up.
I'm waiting on the rape allegations to come back for old buddy.
Yeah.
That division, I mean, if Tom Brady's gone, you don't need too much to win in that division in the future. So, I mean, you don't know what happens in the future, though. So,
yeah, Brady could play another 4 years.
I don't think that's – I can't see that happening.
I hope not.
I didn't see him coming back either.
Happy
I'm tired.
To see him go.
I'm tired of seeing his name.
If he plays more than 2 years, I would be absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
As most shocked as I've ever been in my life.
I think he just wants number 8.
He's not going to
get it. That's what it comes down to. He's not going to get it. That team, they're basically wiped out. From
the NFC is weak, but I talked about it yesterday. I mean, you still got to worry about the Rams now at this point because they lost Von Miller, but they did add Allen Robinson. They lost Robert Woods. They have
– going to be crazy with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp.
I mean, the NFC is wide open. The Packers need to add a wide receiver.
They're done. They're
done. Not with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I don't think they're ever done with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
They could have went with Adams.
They can go out and get 2 first-round wide receivers here if they wanted to.
And I think they gotten that for Adams. Yeah, they could.
They offered Adams $28 million. He left. They offered him.
He don't want to stay there.
What can they do?
He saw what Aaron Rodgers got, and he's like, "There's no way this team is anyone invested in anyone but Rodgers. Yeah. I'm leaving."
And that's the same issue I have with KC. Same issue I have with Cleveland. You give these quarterbacks 25% of your cap. You're only sending a message. You only care about one position to me.
Yep.
And
then you have
a double team.
That's the one thing you got to respect about Brady. He's never asked for a contract like that. He is about the team. Like, he wants his team to be better.
I mean, you have to consider that he gets all of these endorsements and stuff that a lot of other people get. He gets his money, trust me. He gets
Tom
his
Brady. He will get his money.
And he deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
I get the point.
No person on earth ever says, who is Tom Brady?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And they never will.
Everyone knows Tom Brady. Even people who don't even follow sports.
Yep.
If you know Michael Jordan, you know Tom Brady.
Yep. I agree.
Absolutely.
He's the greatest winner I've ever seen.
We've spent the entire episode so far on football, and I don't mind football, but there's still March Madness to talk about before we end up running out of time. Adam is a huge basketball fan, so we will talk about this, and he will do one of these like we talked about before. There it is. All right, Sean, so what do you got? Who's winning Duke, North Carolina? Who do you got?
Unfortunately, I'm going to just go as far as to say, for the record, I hate both of these teams. As a Maryland fan who was formerly in the ACC, I didn't grow like a hatred for these teams like I have for like the Steelers and Browns and Bengals, but I do not like these teams from being in the ACC and playing them so much and being a Maryland fan. Obviously, we're in the Big Ten now, so it's not the same. I don't like either one of these teams, but with Coach K out the door, the Tar Heels beat Duke the last time they played at Cameron right before the season ended. So I think that comes into play a part here. I think Duke rolls them. I think Duke wins by about 10, and I think Duke goes on to win the national championship. I had Nova winning it until Justin Moore went down, who was probably their most important player on both sides of the floor. That's a tough loss for them. So I think they'll probably lose to Kansas, unfortunately. And I see Kansas and Duke, and I see Duke winning something like 73-68, and Coach K going off on his high horse at the end of his career, something like Ray Lewis did.
The murderer, Ray Lewis?
Don't do that. You're the one snitch, Ray Lewis.
No, I won't do that to that man. Okay, so I'm a Tar Heel fan.
Oh, really?
Yes, for basketball. I have been since I was born. I mean, when MJ was there, I wasn't alive.
Right.
I was born the year he left, but Vince Carter was my man. Antoine Jameson, those guys made it for me. I've been a Tar Heel fan ever since then. But and we talked about the game at Cameron. We went over that. I will say this is a different Duke team than then, but at the same time, it's a different Tar Heel team. They've been on a roll lately. They've got guys that are playing valuable minutes that were not playing valuable minutes the
Caleb
first
Love.
25 games of the year.
Caleb Love and Brady Manick.
Yes, those guys have stepped up in the postseason big. I think this is much closer than you think. I actually have the Tar Heels keeping it really close. I do think Duke unfortunately wins. I would love to see the Tar Heels pull it out. I really would. But I think Banchero he's almost unstoppable
He's a dog.
at this point.
He's a dog.
And Coach K, I want to see him win it as much as I don't like Duke. I mean, you can't not respect the man's career.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say Duke gets that win, and then they play a Kansas team that is overrated at number 1. I had them as a 2 or even a 3 seed.
Mm-hmm.
But, the record dictated different. Villanova's kind of washed with Moore gone. So, yeah, I've got Duke putting up about 90 on Kansas because they're an offensive team. They're not a huge defensive team, in my opinion. The postseason says different, but regular season, they were all offense.
Yep.
So I think Duke exploits that. Look, Adam's doing that thing.
That poor man.
So I've got Duke winning like 90-75. Like
we have the same
really
thing, pretty much, just different scores.
Yeah, I do think Duke and North Carolina is closer than a blowout.
I think it's probably 8 to 10 points in that range.
I would say 2 or 3. I think it'll come down to like the last possession when Banchero's got the ball in his hands and he puts the game away.
If Caleb Love's putting up 30, I mean, North Carolina, they could take it.
Got a chance. Yeah. What else were we going to cover?
You guys want to slide through the NBA real quick?
Yeah, I'll do this. I'll do this with you.
Okay. So, what do we think about the Lakers? They are in danger of not even making the play-in game at this point. LeBron is missing tonight, probably a must-win game. As I'm watching right now, they're down pretty big to the Mavericks, who are a playoff team. LeBron missing this game with a sprained ankle. I don't know how bad it is, but man, that's a tough break in these must-win games, man. This Lakers team might be one of the most underachieving teams I've ever seen.
Ever.
I am a LeBron fan. I've always loved LeBron, but I'm gonna speak honestly, and I think a lot of this blame has to fall on his shoulders. I mean, he has to reel this team to the playoffs. He wanted Russ there. Russ has actually not been playing too poorly lately, as of late. This team, they have to get it done. They're losing 82-56 right now at halftime with the third quarter starting against the Mavericks. And they have a tough schedule left. I believe it's like 7 games left to try to make the play-in, and the Spurs are right there with them. So, man, it's do you guys believe if the Lakers don't make the playoffs, do you think this hurts LeBron's legacy? That's what I want to ask you.
I think this – I don't think in this situation Jordan would be sitting. I'm going to say that. Sprained ankle or not, he would be playing. I don't think it's going to hurt his legacy too much because he's trying what he can because the man – I give the man credit. Do I like him necessarily? No. But – he's trying to run a team without having to play 32 minutes a game, what he's having to do now.
Right.
And he's too old to be playing that long. So you're killing your best player because your other players can't step up. Anthony Davis, your Russell Westbrook, they can't step up. Davis is hurt a lot. Russell Westbrook was not playing too well
Yep.
Like honestly, he looked. I thought LeBron was gonna just straight up say, "Get out of my locker room," at one point because he looked bad. I don't think he's gonna hurt his legacy at all. LeBron is LeBron is LeBron is LeBron. I mean, he brought Cleveland a championship. He is who he is, and this isn't gonna ruin his legacy.
So people are going to say that this will tarnish his legacy, and they'll use this in an argument to say why he was not better than Jordan. Do you guys think that this is a valid argument?
I'm going to make the same argument. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
This absolutely does tarnish his legacy. This is the team that he blew up years of draft picks, getting that bench deep. You look at the fodder that is around the NBA right now. Josh Hart, Melvin Ingram, Lonzo Ball.
Brandon Ingram, you mean?
Yes, Brandon Ingram. These guys are littered as all-stars on different teams, and he gave those guys up. He did.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted AD.
Yeah.
He gave those guys up to get street clothes Davis. Then he turns around and says, we want to get Russ because he's going to complete our team. Knowing Russ Westbrook is not a shooter. He is a driver, and he does not fit your scheme. So, yeah, it tarnishes his legacy. Jordan never went to the front office and said, you have to get me somebody better. Jordan said, sign somebody, I'll make them better.
Yep.
Yeah, the only time Jordan did that was with Rodman.
Well, that is
he said
one
it himself.
He did, yes.
Because Pippen was like, I don't want him on the team. Like, he's
Right.
not good for the team. Jordan's like, I forget who the head coach was at the time, but the head coach was like, can you handle him? He said, bring him in. I don't care if he can shoot. He can't shoot, but we need those 20 rebounds.
So
so
that was
Jordan,
they signed.
Yeah.
He didn't say, I want you to trade our entire good depth roster for somebody like this. And that's what LeBron didn't play.
I understand where that's coming from, but it's not his team. And the front office, they're obviously letting LeBron have too much say in it. His future is very slim with the NBA in general. I get it. But his future, how many years does he have left at best?
He's going to wait till LeBron gets into the league. So what is that? 4 years maybe?
So, no,
how
next
many
year.
minutes?
Next year?
Next year?
I think he can get in next year.
But will he?
No, I don't think he should get in at all, but he will because of his name. He's not very good.
He's not good. He's averaging what, like 4 or 5 points?
If his name wasn't Bronny James, he wouldn't be anywhere close to the league.
Can you imagine having that as your name? I'd be
mad.
being as mediocre
your entire career and living up to those expectations. That kid never had a shot from the start.
Never did.
First of
he
all,
will never live up to his dad.
What really happened was he spilt something on the counter at home, and he's like, "Hand me some of them Brawny paper towels." That's what my son's gonna be named.
Brawny Jr.
But
so, I think LeBron is still one of the greatest of all time in basketball. I mean, he started at 19, and the man's just been balling ever since. Just like Brady, they just been balling. LeBron was never an underdog at all. Clearly, he was in at 19.
We're in year what, like 22 now at this point, and he's still
just like Brady.
Top 2 points per game or top 3 points per game or whatever it is. It's all within a small fraction between him, Embiid, and Giannis. So, I mean, what that man's doing at this point in his career is insane. But I do, as LeBron fan, not my favorite player, but I do like LeBron. I think that one, Russell Westbrook is the guinea pig for LeBron fans to blame somebody else, and 2, LeBron gets some of this blame because he wanted Russell Westbrook there instead of like a Buddy Hield or a DeMar DeRozan. Like, imagine how good this Lakers team would be if they had either one of those guys. Buddy Hield fit. LeBron is driving and kicking the ball out. He's the best passer we've ever seen play. And now at the age of 37, him passing to open guys for 3 is what would suit this team best. Mm-hmm. And now these smaller injuries are like a little bit wearing down on them, and they're in danger of missing the playoffs. And it's sad to see.
They're going to miss the playoffs.
And, I mean, they're in grave danger of not making the playoffs.
Freddie will back this up. because Freddie got upset with me in December. I said, because of the decline in age, the Lakers do not stand a chance to make the playoffs. They might make the play-in, but they will not make the playoffs. And he said, bro, you're crazy. LeBron will lead them. And I said, there's no way that LeBron, with a group of people that are as old as my parents, can make the NBA playoffs with the structure set up right now where you come in and most teams you play average 24 years old, maybe 25. They are in their 30s playing children that can run laps around them for 82 games. And I knew there would be a significant drop off after like the beginning of February, because that's when historically you start resting your players that are veterans because their knees are hurting, their backs hurting. Here, everybody is out. LeBron's out, AD's out. Russell Westbrook's still playing, but can he carry a team? No. He had a chance in Oklahoma City, couldn't do it. Had a chance in Houston, couldn't do it. He can't do it. He can score points. He's not a team player.
You're not winning a championship with Russell Westbrook as your main scorer, as your main player. No. You just can't do it. You can't. The main argument
chance with Harden, and I don't trust that either.
Why KD left the Thunder and everybody was pissed off at him? A lot of people say it's because Russell Westbrook would take his shots in crunch time. And I mean, now with LeBron fans who were pissed off that KD left, they're seeing some of the stuff. KD never came out and said this, but this is insinuated. So I mean, I don't know, man. LeBron fans are a different breed sometimes. I'll tell you that. And I am a LeBron fan. I'm not a stan, but I do love LeBron and what he's done for the game. And I also wanted to point out, I think it's a little weird how the Celtics get the 1 seed and then all of a sudden Jason Tatum's not playing and Jaylen Brown's not playing. Nobody wants the 1 seed because they don't want a first-round matchup against the Nets with the possibility of Ben Simmons, and now Kyrie can play every single game, including home games. So I think the East 1 seed, I could be wrong, but I think they are trying to avoid playing the Nets in the first round, and I can't say I blame them. I mean, they have the best scorer in the league. They have
KD's a monster
in the league who can play. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Ben Simmons, but barring he comes back, he doesn't have to score on this team. And he can defend. That's one thing Ben Simmons could always do, as you know,
good at defense.
Is he can defend. He can defend the best of your players 1 through probably 4. So, I mean, Brooklyn's going to be a tough out, and I think that some of these East teams that right now are trying to avoid the 1 seed because they don't want Brooklyn in the first round.
I mean, the East is close too.
Yeah, it's like I think like 1 or 2 games separating the top 4 seeds.
So the top 4 is Heat's at 1, then Sixers, Bucks, and Celtics all 1 game back.
Right. So
they're all 1 game back, and then it's 4.5 games for the Bulls, Raptors, and then so on and so forth.
And speaking of the Bucks, I have no confidence they can repeat as champions this year.
No.
Really?
No.
Who do you think?
I think it's going to be the Nets.
You think that? I think the Nets and Suns, and I think the Suns win it. I think Chris Paul gets his ring.
I think the Suns take it in 4. I think they're way, way above everybody else right now.
God, I hope
they haven't had Chris Paul for a chunk of the season, and before that, I always get him confused with Donovan Mitchell for no reason. Devin Booker missed some games.
So good.
I don't know why I can't get their names separate. They don't even look alike. They play different styles.
They're near the same age. They're both really young shooting guards. So,
but if they're all healthy, that's the team to beat. Period.
The Suns is the best team in the league. I mean,
they
have the best record by almost 20 games.
Yeah,
right.
They're really good. They can win it, but I think it will be Nets and Suns. I agree. Nets and Suns.
I want the Jazz and Suns to be the Western Conference Finals. I will binge watch that.
Jazz and Suns?
Yes. Mitchell versus Booker all day.
I'm hoping that I don't mind the Grizzlies. I really like John Moran. I mean, I think most people do like John Moran.
So good.
I mean, there's not much to dislike about John Moran.
No.
You know, like John Moran, Payne, Dylan Brooks, Steven. I mean, that's a tough team. But they're still very young. So the Suns with Chris Paul, I mean, like you said, who can give you 30 to 40 every single night. They have Cameron Johnson, who's underrated. They have a Miles Bridges, who's underrated. DeAndre Ayton's gotten better with Chris Paul there, as every center always does. That the Suns are a tough team, and
they have good bench players too.
Trae Young too. I mean,
and they're coached well. I think with Chris Paul being older,
good.
This is his best shot at winning his title. This is his best shot he's ever had at winning the title. Last year, nobody expected them to be in the finals, and they were up. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they were up 2-0 in the finals, and they ended up losing 4 straight to the Bucks. But
now
they have that experience. They have Devin Booker, who's hot. They have Chris Paul, was hurt, but that means he's a little more well rested than usual because he got hurt in the Lakers series. So, man, I'm really hoping the Suns win. I hope you guys are right because I'm a big Chris Paul fan.
I think the Suns will.
If Jamal Murray makes it back for the playoffs, I'm not going to write the Nuggets off.
Yeah.
They are really good without their stars. So when they get those guys back, if they incorporate them correctly, the Nuggets have a chance. I mean, the Joker he's a one-man show.
Yeah. He's a beast.
He's getting another
so
MVP.
Good.
And they have Aaron Gordon.
He's getting it.
You think he's getting it this year?
I do. Back to back.
Over Embiid?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Embiid ain't a monster.
He is, but they're going to make the case of Embiid has more help.
I mean, and that's a valid
that's
point.
not false.
The Nuggets have Will Barton, and they have Aaron Gordon, and they have a couple other pieces, but they don't have
no all-stars.
No.
And Philly,
I mean,
Tobias Harris is a guy that was an all-star, and he's like their 5th best player in Philly.
Yeah.
That's a loaded roster. I don't know why they don't do better in the postseason. They're like the Celtics to me. They have great regular seasons and show talent, and then you get to the postseason, it's like they forget and they're still in college.
I honestly think it's Doc Rivers.
He's
as of late.
He doesn't win the big game.
I think he's just like Andy Reid with the Eagles. He does very well before the playoffs.
One and done.
He does very well. I like Doc Rivers, but same way I used to like Andy Reid. Does good in the regular season. But Embiid has to carry that team. If Embiid's not there, they aren't where they are. That's what the MVP comes down to.
I think Embiid probably wins it. Another quick point I wanted to say about the Eastern Conference is I did have the Celtics at least making a run possibly to the finals, but they just lost their player who does all their dirty work, Robert Williams, for at least 4 to 6 weeks, and people don't understand how big of a loss that is for them. Rebounding, defense, hustle. I mean, he was their Tristan Thompson when he was on the Cavs back when LeBron was there. He is good. Like the dirty work type of player that most teams like want to have. That's a bigger loss for the Celtics than people think. And I think that's going to hurt them bad.
Well,
yeah,
guys,
I mean, I guess we'll see in a few weeks.
I think we are out of time.
Yep.
We're actually 3 minutes over, but they can complain at me in my inbox. I don't care.
Tell them it's my fault.
I'm not telling nobody nothing.
I love those guys.
And that was a good show. Like I said, apologize about last week.
No, it's all good, man.
We'll figure things out. We may end up having to find somebody that is more consistent than me because it's NASCAR season, and that's kind of my go-to thing. We're going to Talladega in a few weeks.
I understand.
And work is hard right now, but I'm glad you guys are killing it. And we will see you guys again next week. You got anything, Adam? Let's close it out.
Nothing from me.
All right, Captain.
Go Ravens.
Sean, that's what you got.
That's what I got.
You guys can't even
He's muted. He's muted.
Well, that's always what I got. Go Ravens.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Bulldogs.
All right, fellers. Have a good evening.
Show, boys. See you next week.
See you next week.
Adios.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. sports all plays.